The wolf did not sleep that night. He paced the high ground, watching the humans come and go, listening to the forest shift beneath their presence. Trees creaked differently when fear lived in their roots. Streams changed their voices. Even the moon seemed reluctant to rise fully, veiled by thin cloud as if ashamed to witness what was happening below. By morning, the forest was quieter again. The wolf descended at first light, moving where the humans had been. The ground was scarred, soil torn open, young trees crushed before they had learned how to stand. The wolf pressed his nose to the earth and inhaled. Oil. Metal. The cold scent of ambition. This was not hunger. This was forgetting. As he moved through the damage, animals watched from hiding. Eyes blinked from holes, from branches, from places that once held no fear. The wolf stopped and sat among the scars, refusing to leave. His presence was deliberate now. Heavy. Unavoidable. The raven returned, landing nearby. You cannot fight them, it said. I know, the wolf replied. Then why stay? The wolf looked at the forest. Because leaving teaches the wrong lesson. Hours passed. The humans returned. They saw the wolf this time, fully visible, unmoving, eyes locked onto theirs. Shouts erupted. Weapons were raised. The wolf did not flinch. He stood like the memory of something they had almost erased. One man hesitated. Another lowered his weapon slightly. Silence spread, fragile but real. The forest leaned in. The wolf howled. Not in rage, not in threat, in grief. The sound cut through the morning air, heavy with loss and warning. It carried the weight of every tree that had fallen, every nest abandoned, every stream forced quiet. The humans shifted uneasily. Something old stirred in them, something that remembered being small in places like this. They backed away. Not all, not forever, but enough. Days passed, then weeks. The machines came less often. The forest dared to breathe louder. The wolf continued his patrol, not as ruler, but as witness. He hunted when he must, rested when he could, and howled not to dominate, but to remind. One evening, as snow dusted the ground, the raven returned one last time. The forest is learning again, it said. The wolf watched deer step into the open without trembling. So am I. What have you learned? The raven asked. That silence is not peace, the wolf said, and noise is not life. Balance lives between. The raven nodded and took flight, disappearing into the white sky. Seasons turned. The forest grew louder. Not wild, not careless, but honest. The wolf aged. His steps slowed. His howls deepened. One winter morning, he climbed the ridge one final time and looked out over a forest that no longer hid. He lay down beneath an old pine and closed his eyes, the sounds of life moving freely around him. The forest was no longer quiet, and that was how he knew it would survive. The wolf and the quiet forest. The first thing you must understand is this: the forest was never truly quiet. It only sounded that way to those who did not belong. To the wolf moving through the shadows before dawn, the forest was loud with truth. Every snapped twig was a warning. Every drifting scent was a memory. Every pause between sounds was a decision being made. The wolf had ruled these woods for years, not by cruelty, not by noise, but by presence. Animals moved aside without seeing him. Hunters spoke of glowing eyes that never blinked. And yet, on this morning, the wolf stopped. He stopped because the forest had changed. No birds argued in the branches. No insects hummed beneath the leaves. Even the wind seemed unsure of itself. Silence pressed in from all sides, thick and wrong, like snow falling inside the chest. The wolf lowered his head, hackles rising, muscles coiled not for attack, but for understanding. This was not the silence of peace. This was the silence of something missing. He moved forward anyway. The wolf's paws made no sound as he crossed familiar ground. He passed the hollow tree where owls once nested. Empty. He passed the clearing where deer gathered at dusk. Untouched grass, unbroken. Hunger gnawed at his belly, sharp and insistent, but it was not hunger that troubled him. It was the absence of fear. Prey had not fled. They had vanished. At the heart of the forest stood a place even the wolf had avoided, a wide basin surrounded by ancient trees, their trunks scarred with time. This was where the forest listened to itself. As the wolf stepped into the basin, the silence deepened, as if the world were waiting for him to speak first. "You feel it too," said a voice. The wolf spun, teeth bared, but there was no enemy. Instead, perched on a fallen stone, sat an old raven, feathers dull, eyes sharp with knowing. Ravens were not unusual. Talking ravens were. "You should not be here," the wolf growled, his voice low, more vibration than sound. "Neither should this silence," the raven replied calmly. "Yet here we are." The wolf circled once, then sat, never taking his eyes off the bird. "Where is everything?" The raven tilted its head. "Hiding. Waiting." "The forest has learned a new habit." The wolf's tail flicked. "From what?" "From noise," the raven said. "From taking." "From being watched without being seen." The wolf felt a flare of anger. "I hunt. I belong." "Yes," the raven said. "You take to live. Others take to empty." Images flashed through the wolf's mind. Steel scents, smoke drifting where it did not belong, trees falling with screams too deep for human ears. The forest had endured many wounds, but this one was different. This one had taught it fear of existing at all. "What do I do?" the wolf asked, hating how small the question sounded. The raven spread its wings slightly. "You walk. You listen. And you remind the forest what still breathes for it." The wolf rose and began to move, not hunting now, but announcing himself. He howled once, not loud, not challenging, but steady. The sound rolled through the trees like a promise. For the first time in days, something answered. A bird call. Faint. Afraid. Alive. He continued deeper, howling at intervals, marking not territory, but reassurance. Slowly, life crept back into the edges of sound. Leaves rustled. A squirrel scolded. The forest exhaled, just enough to remember itself. But the silence was not finished. As night fell, the wolf reached the northern ridge and saw firelight below. Humans. More than before. Their machines bit into the earth, their voices loud and careless. The wolf watched from the dark, understanding now. The quiet forest was not asleep. It was hiding. The wolf lifted his head and howled again, this time louder, fuller, carrying warning and memory in equal measure. The humans paused. One laughed. Another gripped his weapon. Fear flickered, brief but real. The wolf did not attack. He vanished. The forest needed more than teeth tonight. It needed time.